じゃあなぜなんでここに先生が
I think the best question is, why, when you open the stall door, did you not then close it quickly and say, oops, sorry, rather than, being weird and entering and then shutting it behind you?
鍵をかけていたはずだが。
ここのトイレ壊れててかからないんですよ。
Why aren't you leaving though, bro?
だからといって確認もせず中に入ってくるとはいい度胸だ。
先生こそここ男子トイレですよ。
Whilst he is right, it would still be equally strange if he did what he just did and some poor lad was instead sat there on the loo. I mean, you still walked in and then entered and then closed it behind you, bruh. Also though, the blame isn't entirely his. Yes, it's weird he went in and closed the door behind him and then called an oopsie-daisy on the sitch, but still, bit equally strange is that she in turn also stayed dead silent during the event, transpiring like a sexy teacher weirdo who was definitely sexy, not discounting that for a second.
私は女子トイレが清掃中で男子トイレを使わせてもらったんだ。まあ今回は私にも非がある。
She doesn't say it was urgent, and if you're already going into that much detail, you might as well say that it was urgent and thus I couldn't visit a woman's restroom slightly further away. But by not saying that, she walks directly into a sin, and that probably hurt her sexy nose. Also though, if she is in there for a Pinkus Tinkus, aka a Wicked Whiz, she could most definitely have still used the other restroom. But I guess it'd be awkward if it was a dude cleaning in there, but then you could ask him to leave. There's too many questions to be answered here. But if she required a drop off at the pool, then it makes sense to use the other restroom to a degree. But then we also have to talk about how extra weird it is that he's staying in there in spite of the funk. Because for me, as gorgeous as the view would be, the brown fumes would see me turn in disgust.
すみません、すぐ離れます。
待て、そんなに早く動かれると出ちゃう。
I still don't know what she's doing on the loo, but I'm afraid to find out.
すまないが、ゆっくり動いてくれ。
はい。
Does beg the question why she chose to pull him in close if seconds later she's saying get off me, kind of contradicting yourself there, girl. Do women get horny when they need to pee? Genuinely never experienced that. I call
bullshit.
俺も限界でした。
は？あ？
Something somewhat sexual occurs with a woman and then she screams whilst the camera pans up to the sky cliche.
何個こ？
Because it's clearly a classroom.
やばい、重症だな。ん？先輩、何か言いましたか？
Yes! He was quite clearly talking out loud. He wasn't whispering, mumbling, or stuttering his words. And on top of that, he's right next to you.
いや、鈴木の顔は相変わらず怖いなって言ったんだよ。
Yeah, but you most definitely didn't though, did you, dude? And you're looking up at the fucking sky whilst you say it.
相変わらず真面目だな、鈴木は。
He seemingly has no peripheral vision. She seemingly has no vision full stop.
松風先生。
いえいえ、大丈夫ですよ。
They let a 12-year-old girl teach a class for some reason.
それじゃあ、先輩。
佐藤くんどうかしたんですか？
Why the fuck would you think that? He said, oh sorry for bumping into her, then said see you later, and she's like, oh my gosh, what's wrong?
保健室に行くみたいです。なんか疲れたとかで。
保健室。
な
あ、でもあんまり見ないでくれ。恥ずかしい。
もちろん全力で目隠しします。
Seems a little unlikely that a school nurse's office would have cold medicine that needs to be inserted via the back door. That's like a lawsuit just waiting to happen.
ここですね。もう少し力を抜いて。
I suppose since I'm sending this semi-seriously, I should send the silly scene studiously.
さっさと直してお仕置きだ。
She shoves it into his eye.
間違いなくコインランドリーだ。じゃあなぜ？なんでここに先生が？
My guy, you can't just use this for everything. The men's toilets, of course that makes sense. But this saying only works if teachers never use these services for some unknown reason. Episode 11, this is a restaurant. This is definitely a restaurant. So why the hell are you here, teacher? Maybe she's just bloody hungry, dude.
せっかく乾燥機あるんですし、服乾かしたらどうですか？
服はこれしかない。 私に裸になれというのか。
と思ったのに。
いやありがとうな佐藤。
これはこれで目のやり場に困る。
She's pissed at him for bringing up the idea of drying her clothing, because in order to do so, she'd have to, at some stage, get semi-naked in there, but then accepts his shirt, and in order to put it on, had to get semi-naked in there.
あれじゃないか。
高いですね。
台になりそうなものもないな。
Meanwhile, in the background, there's what looks to be a whole bunch of fairly heavy-duty plastic washing baskets.
今度は肩車、私が下になろう。
いや、それはダメです。
侮るな。お前くらい持ち上げられる。
She somehow got him off the floor and quickly snuck underneath him. Oh, very sneaky and strong teacher.
というか、そもそも先生は子供の世話とかできるんですか？
当然ではないか。ほれ、泣く子も黙る私の子守テクを見せてやろう。私が近寄るとすぐに泣く。私は子供に好かれたいのに。
Why lie about something that you'll just be immediately found out about, though?
たまにはいいなこういうのも。
This. The mere notion that you could slam into someone else's face at speed and it would result in an accidental romantic kiss and not at the very least a swollen lip or a bump on the head. Not showing it, so I'll instead let you bathe in the view of the stars, but she lets, like by choice, the little girl num-num on her jubbly. Because it means she's maternal, and yay, that's a good sign. Like, wow, that's damn weird, dude!
私たちは教師と生徒だぞ。でも。
She starts by walking down the hallway at a normal pace, but when it's sideways on, she's clearly going like 5% of a normal walking speed randomly.
やるよ。
Yes, it's an anime, so let's not take it too seriously, but at the same time, she took a single sip and was immediately drunk. At least make her drain it and do the classic "Bwaha!" cliche, and then she's drunk. This is just stupidly quick, and that's sim-worthy in my book.
こんにちは。子供相手でさえまともに話せないこんな性格じゃやっぱり先生なんて無理だよね。
Not only that, but when you pass children, you oddly hop onto a tiny little horse who gallops very slowly.
ありがとう。姉ちゃん、風呂貸してくれて。
Man, I've never understood it in anime, where in a situation like this, the kid doesn't go back home, maybe even just escorted by the older girl, but instead she takes him back to her house and gives him a bath?
まあ名前も知らないんですけどね。
はあ？何言ってんだよ。さきさん、この子。
The mother, having opened the book and seen the pictures herself, sat and listened to the entire story, and only when the teacher brought up wishing she knew who the kid was, revealed it was him, even though she listened to the entire thing with a complete nonchalant look on her face.
確かお前の名前だよな。あの時の子供って。
なぜ怒る？言ったら？あの子、いや、お前は私の恩人だと。
And yet you started off by reacting in this way with this facial expression.
チャンス到来。やったね。
Saying 3 words in a slightly raised voice and throwing a pillow at the door completely knackers him out to the point of panting.
お兄ちゃんの部屋にいるの。
こうなったらするしかない。
For some reason, at this point in time, in his head he thinks, I've got to give her water via mouth to mouth. So like, maybe she immediately sobers up and stops coming onto him before his mother arrives up the stairs to get his little sister? Jesus, that's a bloody stretch! He's like, I can't do this because if the school finds out that we kissed, she won't be able to be my teacher anymore, and yet thinks there's no issue with her continuously getting her tits out in front of him. Yes, that's right, it's the kiss where the school would burn her at the stake for lewdness in the 3rd degree.
違う、別に変なことはしてないですよね、先生。
I really don't understand where, in a world where your mother is more than okay with you bedding your teacher, hell, literally telling you to do it, that you'd at the same time continuously freak out at the situation of your teacher being semi-nude in the room. Like with the water, he was thinking, I have to get her this liquid as soon as possible before my mother sees us. But she's literally weirdly okay with it. Or here, it's not what you think, bro, she's literally okay with it. Stop trying to pretend otherwise.
ありがとうございました。
鬼の子
Oh, extremely synchronized bowing.
母ちゃんの友人の結婚式に招待されたおかげで俺たち家族は南の島にやってきていたはずだったのに。
No, man, that's actually how it is. Or is your argument that you are somehow not on a tropical island with your family all of a sudden?
間違いなく南の島だ。じゃあなぜなんでここに先生が？
I get that it's part of the show due to its name, but she's clearly there because, at worst, she's a good friend of your mum's. How aren't you getting this?
それにカナはもうすぐ家族になるんだし。
もうすぐ家族になる？何言ってんの？
まああんた次第だ。
I don't get it. It's like he hasn't got a brain in his head. His mum keeps on making the same joke. Sleep with your teacher. Marry her. I love her. Have your way with her. And then she makes a comment. Oh, she'll be family though soon enough, am I right? And he's like, what's that mean?
ここを拠点にしよう。
母ちゃんのせいで先生の顔を見るのがなんか照れくさい。
Nothing to do with the whole watching her urinate thing then? Nothing to do with inserting medicine in the rear with the gear? Not her getting drunk and kissing you and getting the girls out? No, it was that comment. Okay.
こんな感じですか？
もっと上もだ。
どうでしょう？
ああ、そんな感じだ。
You're not giving a massage. She has no clue how to direct you because she hasn't got eyes in the back of her noggin. You are applying sunscreen to areas without sunscreen. You just spread it.
卒業したらここに来ましょう。今度は2人で。
外。
Saying someone's name instead of talking normally cliche.
でかいし凶悪な顔してるからな。俺もお前が中学の後輩じゃなかったら逃げてるわ。
ひどい。You said that in the first episode, mate. You can't just recycle lines.
人通りもなく静かな中には今日からここで一人。
If that was the only issue, which it isn't, it's apparently his stern face, then you'd just go to the cafeteria or eat in the classroom with everyone else. And thus, I don't see the logic in pointing out the quiet area you're sat in and how you'll thus now be alone at lunch. The location is irrelevant.
そのはずだったのになんでここに先生が？
Yeah, but that doesn't work though, dude. She's a teacher in the school. That's why she's there. Also, though, on a personal note, it's sinful that the hot original teacher was traded in for this part of the story with this ugly chick.
教師が生徒に手を出すなんてダメでしょ。
This was a statement that she felt the need to raise in the form of a question.
なんで女性の服がそんなに乱れてるの？恋人同士には見えないし、まさか痴漢？
恋人同士ですけど。
先生？
この場を穏便に済ますための振りです。
She says really loudly in front of the cop as though he suddenly cannot hear her.
鈴木くん。
なんでここに先生が？
Japanese teachers aren't allowed to order food in public.
うずレイ。
どうしたの？
これ母さん。
届けに来てくれたの？
Nah, that sounds stupidly far-fetched. Dude's acting like he's in a trench in a war zone. Like, why not stand there?
お姉ちゃん、大人なのに。また子供のおもちゃ買ったの？
She seemingly just assumes this, and then even more weird is she then bursts into the toilet to have this chat with her.
何？なんでもない。なんで顔赤いの？
Perhaps because she's in a hot bath? CGI.
渋滞の上に靴も壊れて間に合わないなって。
It's a strange sin, but for me personally, I hate her voice. It just sounds extremely irritating to me.
お急ぎのようでしたけど、どうしました？
実は10時から教員採用試験があるんですけど、渋滞の上に靴も壊れて間に合わないなって。
起きました。
Asking someone if they're awake when they're awake, brought to you by your friends in Japan.
もうお腹すいた。なんか食べ物出せ。
じゃあ先生。
西高さんもう来てたんだ。ごめん。つうか二人とも可愛いな。
She enters the room and doesn't notice that there are 3 other people in it. She also says, for some reason, besides, the 2 of you are both cuties. Besides what, though?
まずは経費を見直して。タカ、おかえり。なんでここに先生が？タカも突っ立ってないでくっちくい。
Either she's got massively long arms, or that scene played out differently than how it was voiced.
お互い両親が共働きだったため物心ついた頃から遊んでもらって
Bit weird how when they were kids she was like a year older than him looking, or maybe 2 or 3 at most, and now she looks 23 and he looks 9.
まあ静かになったし寝かしとこ。
He gets up and yes, one button gets caught and snaps off, but somehow when this happens it pulls her top all the way up to her neck and also unclips the bra.
よかった怒られなくて。けど僕本当に男として見られてないんだな。
Yeah, her and everyone else, bruh.
今日はタカに大人の買い物に付き合ってもらおうと思ってな。
ここは引かねえ。
Classic anime trope right there, only reacting to something whilst you're in the middle of it. What about when you entered the section?
いや最近またブラがきつくなってきてさ。
知らないよそんなの。行か
She didn't ask you anything, she just stated a fact.
じゃあよろしく。
せ。じゃあそんなこと言ったって。
These girls failed to see him talk to the woman, get put in a headlock by her, and then her go into the changing room literally just before this moment.
さてドリンクバーでも行ってこようっと。
引かねえ。
Really randomly saying someone's name instead of talking normally cliche.
タカミッケ。
行かね
なんか変だぞ。平気か？
え。目引かねえ。僕のせいで。
まああんなとこで絡んだ私も悪かったし。
Yeah, but you didn't though, did you? Don't try to make him feel better. You said hi and then wondered what was up with him. That's not hassling and you know it.
引かね
起きたのか？もう少し寝ててもいいぞ。
How are you gonna keep on asking someone if they're awake when they're literally talking to you though?
おいタカ！待て！寝るな！起きろ！
They even used this trope again. A woman shouts something and they pan up to the sky outside as she yells. Impressive, Snake!
のはずだったのになんでこんなことになってるの。
She's literally on the committee or something with you though, isn't she?
この手錠で捕まえるわけだ。
なんで私に。
Yup, her voice is still irritating.
あと鍵棚の上でしたよね。これか。
鈴木くん。
Instead of taking the box down in order to look at it, he goes through it whilst it's still up there.
私か。
Bullshit.
CGI.
タカなんてビビって恥ずかしい姿を晒せば。タカを驚かして恥ずかしい姿を晒してやろうと思ってね。
When she falls through, the floorboards are chipped, but from the next shot, it's more like she fell into a trap door since the wood looks unaffected.
引かねえ。ちょっと待ってて。
別にタカまで一緒に行かなくても。ってあれタカ？ごめんタカ大丈夫か？
She holds onto his leg as he's walking away from her, he falls through the floor, and yet in midair during the fall must have not only turned around to now face her, but also spins upright since it had fallen on his face and not his ass. Not only that, but the other girl ran off just ahead of him, and yet she never heard him not following her, getting grabbed, or falling very noisily through the floor.
何の音ですかこれは。
雨とかかな。
Isn't the hole literally open right in front of them though? It'd be 100% visibly just standing there, holding a bucket under her ass.
これでよしった。
器用ですね。
He is. He also just so happened to have spare wood, nails, and a hammer laying around too.
でも熊に体当たりされたカップルは告白が成功したり喧嘩中でも仲直りしたりみんな幸せになってるらしいんだよね。
After hearing about the bear attacks, she seemingly stood around and gathered information about the success rates of the students who had shared their feelings with one another.
告白が成功。
No.
タカ一緒に。
Her very recent memory is a grainy 1990s videotape.
うるし
So this is a very rare double sin, because not only did he manage to fall into her pretty tight looking bear costume at the neck, but worse than that, or at least equal to it, is her not noticing.
経済力もないし、この先どうなるかもわからない。
そうだよね。
でも、それでもよければ将来結婚しましょう。
This school is weirdly okay with their students and teachers just near non-stop hooking up, eh?
なんて言ったけどバイト先は出会いないし。
田中、使用済みの油外持ってっとけ。
These guys only rarely hire anyone with hair.
すいません。なんでここに先生が。
Japanese teachers can't order fast food or go into restaurants.
というか何しに、そもそもなぜ僕を取ってるんですか。
生徒のことを知った方がいいと言われたから。
This woman who was able to get up in the morning and dress and feed herself and even got a job as a nurse thought that this was a logical thing to do.
むしろ僕としては先生のことを知りたいですよ。
私のこと。
間違いなく岩垣島だ。じゃあなぜこんなことになっている。
牛いっぱいいる。
まさか本当に橘先生と岩垣島に来てしまうとは。
Are you seriously asking this after fully knowing how?
なんとすぐ助けます。
She knows how to swim and went there in a bathing suit for that purpose, yet after falling into the water and clearly being okay, he dives in to rescue her.
まあこうなることは分かってたさ。少し夢を見たかっただけ。
Everyone at the school was okay with him sitting there hours after school has ended in the dark.
夜は雪って話だし早く帰ろう。って雪降りすぎでは。やばい、電車もバスも止まってる。
He sat at his desk that entire time and never even bothered to look outside the window to notice the snowstorm. Also though, he never even looked at his phone the entire time to see the weather forecast warning.
夢かこれは。まさか本当に先生からチョコを。
暑くなってきた。
それにこの先生の表情。
Take a sin here overall as well for students non-stop falling onto their teachers' tits. It happens nearly every single scene. Be at least a bit more creative with your slip and falls, would you? Chris Harris, Ted L, Inakami and Water, Manuel Morales, Marquez, Nick Wyndham, Warkeeper, Steelers, The Epic Commander, Bird Without a Word, Blitzcow, Brandon Creer, Gaten 2000, Kieran Robinson, Cumfreak, Kim Munt, Magnus, Matthew Casterline, Nathan Burr, Sean, Alex P, Ali 50, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Guru, Isel Caldera, Yor Edvinson, Jonas Stahl, Jordan Samuels, Jaffa6263, Kelnock, Kepan, Kevin Nalter, Conito, Luis Cruz, Matthew Blanchett, Matt the Marshmallow, 1928, Sentimento, Storm 970, The Elementaler Wars.